Hello V-Ray users, Alex here, your V-Ray guide, and today I want to show you how to do a real wind simulation to your curtains in order to make them nice and windy and wavy in your interiors or exteriors. Of course, by using 3ds Max, V-Ray, and some wind simulation options that 3ds Max got to offer. Right, so you can see I already was playing around and trying out some curtains here. This is level 1, the clay model that I'm working now for the cubicle challenge and doing some over the shoulder. So this is going to be one of those over the shoulder techniques that I'm going to show you how to make those nice curtains. So you can see those curtains have that animation of folding up, and then the last frame they also kind of jumping to the a little bit different position. This the last frame 100 is the one that I actually adjust manually to get that shape that I'm looking for. So we need to select our collision options, objects that will be ceiling, walls, floor, and I have a column here, and I'm gonna put a curtain right here on that spot. So I'm gonna isolate here and I'm gonna put a curtain just right there. Next thing, we gotta go and we need to create our curtain. So we're gonna call it plane. And that plane must not be inside the wall or touch the floor, because if it's going to be inside our collision object, it will not simulate properly. So I'm gonna lift it up, something like this, really close to the floor, but not inside the floor. And we gotta make this plane to be editable poly. If it will remain plain, I don't think you'll be able to do any animation with it. So, and let's just move this a little bit lower here, just to be inside our hole, something like this. All right, and as you see here, I already made a little placement for my curtains. I want them to be hidden in the ceiling. I don't want to have any sticks or anything sticking out. So it's kind of minimalistic for that curtain to be placed. All right, so I'm gonna position it somewhere here in the middle, and I'm gonna create a cylinder to be attached to that. To my curtain, and the cylinder also have to have enough segments. So 41 here is good enough. Now, in order to get those nice foldings of the curtain, we need to animate our curtain, the holder that holds it actually. So by clicking Auto key and standing on frame 100, we're going to reduce the size about a little bit more than half, something like this. So from 117, I'm going to about 52, something like this, maybe about 60. Yeah, somewhere here, because if you do it really close, it's gonna get a lot of those wrinkles. All right, so something like this would work. Now, next thing, we have to go and add cloth to my curtain. Cloth, object properties, and we're gonna add all the collision objects: column, wall, ceiling, cylinder, and the floor. And the plane is going to have cloth. It's going to be 25, 25, stretch 75, 75, shear of 225, density 0.1 and damping 0.1. Thickness is going to be 0.1. Repulsion 2, air resistance 1, and dynamic friction 1, and self friction 5. Oops, 0.5. Alright, and now we can do our column, ceiling, cylinder, all of those guys, floor, walls, all of them going to be collision objects. Okay, so we did that. Now what we need to do is go back to frame 0 and select our curtain, go to group and select vertices. I'm about skipping 1 or 2, just doing it randomly. Those going to be my foldings, the way my curtain is going to get folded in while being attached to the curtain holder, to the rug. Okay, now after we did select them, we gotta make group, call it cloth attachment, press OK, and do sticky surf by selecting our cylinder. So you can see here our cloth attachment is the group, is a sticky mesh to cylinder. Alright, now we need to add wind, so we're gonna go to forces, wind. I'm gonna place wind here. Oops. This is going to be wind number 3. Make sure your wind positioning the right direction. Snap tool, E to rotation, W to move it to the right position. Alright, so we're good to go and to do our animation, our simulation. So I'm going to select the cloth again. Oh, we need to add our wind, otherwise it will not be affected by the wind. So click on cloth forces, add your wind, and click simulate. Now we can see that our rug is moving and it creates those nice foldings, and the wind is blowing, so our curtain gets kind of rising up on the wind, and we get really nice realistic foldings here just because we had that nice and random selection. Alright, so our simulation almost done. Okay, so this is what we get. Now we can go ahead and design it by going to faces, simulate local, and do the live drag. So I actually want the wind to come from this side, so I want to rise this part a little bit higher. So I'm going to select those guys and I'm going to pull it in like this. I'm going to select this here, I'm going to pull it in. This here, pull it in. I want it to rise a little bit. So if you do create those and you ruin your nice and smooth cloth, don't worry about it, because you can, I'll show you how to relax this. You can go back to cloth and do simulate local, and just whatever you pulled will keep going in that direction. And whoop, just want to freeze it, just want to find that perfect spot to freeze your curtain. You can go back to faces, simulate and live drag, and drag it a little bit higher to go to this direction, just like that, and maybe even a little bit more higher, like this. It's good. Go back to cloth, click local, and you see it will keep going, keep rising till it reaches the point. It will straighten it up, and we'll go back, and somewhere here I want to keep simulating. Just to find that right direction of the wind. To my curtain. Yes. Alright, and the last one, I'm still not really satisfied with this guy, so I'm gonna rise it up a little bit. Like this. I'm gonna go back to cloth and do local. That's it. Maybe a little bit more. Alright, now if you want to have a little bit better geometry on this, you can go ahead and add turbo smooth and increase the interpolation, so you get really nice and smooth mesh. Maybe 3 is a little bit too much, but we get a little bit nicer here. Simulate local, I want to get rid of those wrinkles here, because they don't really look realistic to me. So you see, it's pretty easy task. It's nothing complicated. You just play with your cloth simulation and live drag simulation just to get that really nice shape to your curtains, to make it look nice and windy. Alright, so somewhere about here is good. I like that shape. And now we can move this to the side. Just to have a really nice air coming in from my windows. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this tip and you're gonna use it in your daily work to make your interiors look more realistic than ever. Post your comments below and share it with your friends. This is Alex, your VRA guide. Talk soon. Ciao.